All right, welcome to Meet Adelaide. My name's Henry Davis and I am joined by Yassir Ajrish, who is a councillor from Campbelltown Council. Yeah. Now, Yassir's actually running for Mayor of Campbelltown and I'm running for Lord Mayor of Adelaide, so I'll kind of be your boss. So I thought we'd get together, we'd have a bit of a chat. So we're a long way out from the election, but I wanted to chat with someone who's also running for Mayor and have a chat about the campaign, what's been leading up to it, what prompted Yassir to run for Mayor, and have a bit of a chat about what our plans are, I suppose, for our different communities. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Henry, and I really appreciate the kind introduction there.
Yeah.
It's amazing that the election has been pushed out. That's all I'm going to say.
Were you ready? Were you gearing up for a December election?
So I actually announced my campaign in December of 2025.
Oh, okay. You've been going for a while then.
Yeah. So this is why it picked up. It has matured quite a bit. That's why it's reached a stage where it's reaching 1 million of views.
Well, see, that's why you're getting millions of views. That's why you're so far ahead, because you've already had a year ahead of me.
Well
not because you're really good.
But then, of course, you got to understand that most councillors, what they do is they don't say anything about running, and then they want to nominate at the end of October, September, whatever it is.
Yeah, a 2-month campaign.
And then they do like a 2-month campaign, get like 200 votes, and just get in.
Well, that's all you need, right? I think one girl here in Eleanor Freeman, she was elected with 140 votes in the city of Adelaide, right? And then now, $2 billion worth of assets and $300 million worth of assets, of income per year. So every vote that she got, she controls $2 million worth of revenue.
I'll actually point to something even worse here about council elections in South Australia. First of all, we both of us know that council elections is not compulsory, right?
Yeah.
So people don't have to vote.
30% of the vote.
Yeah, exactly. So about 30% of people ever vote in council elections. Now, on top of that, I did a bit of a statistical analysis of last election.
Oh, did you?
And it really, I think, says a lot about how council elections are run in South Australia. So about 13.7% of elected members across South Australia were elected unopposed.
With no votes?
Not a single vote casted.
Put their hand up.
In my council, we had 3, including the mayor, elected unopposed.
Did Jill get, your mayor's Jill Whittaker, isn't she?
Yeah, Jill Whittaker.
Yeah, she got elected unopposed?
Unopposed, not a single vote casted.
Really?
And I was just actually posted something today on social media, and I said we have 60,000+ residents and 40,000+ eligible voters. And out of these 40,000 eligible voters, not a single person.
Not a single person. It's 1 in 40,000 stands up for mayor.
As I said, I feel like council elections in South Australia, it looks like it's a president of a classroom in high school. So you just go, well, does anybody want the job? And they go like, nah, we'll just give it to that guy. He goes, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, sure. They go, you're a councillor. Yeah. It's like the Oprah in local government.
Yeah.
You get a gift.
But it's so important. See, I think local government's a really good tier of government. Yeah. It's closest to the people.
Yeah.
And if you spend $1 in your council area, it gets spent within 10 kilometres of where you live.
I agree.
So, but if I give $1 to the federal government, who knows where that goes? Yeah. It goes to pork barrelling some marginal electorate over in the eastern states, so the government can try and take balance of power, right?
I agree.
So I think you definitely see that, like you see massive infrastructure projects happening in the eastern states, and Adelaide gets left behind. But when you give $1 to your local council, it goes to your local area, so it really does matter. Yeah. And I think what do you think about scrapping local government altogether?
Look, to be honest with you, I've had so many people comment on my social media about scrapping local government altogether.
Yeah.
Not because they dislike me, maybe it could be one of the reasons, but the other reason is just they just don't believe in local government at all. They don't believe or trust local government.
Well, yeah, but you know what I trust even less than local government? State government. And you know what I trust even less than state government?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Federal government, right? People go, councils are so inefficient.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's your next best alternative? It's run by the state government.
Yeah.
I don't have they spend $500 million on a hydrogen plant, which is that would be 10 times your entire income for Campbelltown.
If people realised the influence of local government, if people realise the influence of local government on their lives, they would be engaging so much. But part of the reason why they don't engage, because we are stuck in a way in communicating with people like it's the 1950s. Like we don't actually communicate with people the way people want to be communicated to. We're still so stuck behind in sharing information.
Yep.
And sometimes it feels like it's intentional. So
for sure.
No, a few weeks ago, I actually wanted to go on the website and, listen to the recording. And it's not even filmed. It's only a voice recording. And it was difficult for me to actually navigate that website. So it's hard, and I feel if you scrap local government, sure, okay, who's going to take the work?
Yeah.
And the state government doesn't actually want to deal.
Well, it'll be the state government.
Yeah, but they do not want to deal.
It'll be the bastion of efficiency of the state government if you get rid of local councils.
I feel like state government is smart enough to say, nah, we don't want to deal with these issues.
Yeah.
And they'll just kick them down the road and go like, local government can deal with these issues, local roads and footpaths and all these things. I don't think the state government would be ever ready to take initiative to take over local government. And I get why people are frustrated. They don't see change.
Yeah.
They say that a lot. I've knocked on doors. People have been living there for 60 odd years. They've never seen or met anyone who's campaigning.
Well, that's the other thing is there's quite a bit of work to do.
Yeah.
And to do, I think that, you could be a councillor full time.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
But you get paid, I think you're on 20 grand, I think I'm on 30
like
in the city.
Yeah, something like that.
And so you could actually do the job of a councillor full time.
Yeah.
But it's not a full-time wage.
No.
Right?
You have to work. You have to have a full-time job. You know what? Brisbane...
Or be retired.
Yeah, or be retired. See, Brisbane, I think, does a really good job by scrapping all that together, and they'll have a full-time job for councillors, and I think they get paid around 130 and whatnot.
That's
we don't want their
they
salary.
Have staff and everything. Yeah.
We don't want the salaries of the Brisbane, but I think, as you said, if you actually want to do this job well, it can be a full-time job, and then it just really amazes me people are getting elected unopposed because, again, voting in council elections is not compulsory.
Well, I think we're going to get a lot less people running this time round.
You reckon?
I think so, because of kind of what's happened to you. We'll go through that in a second. And, I've been on the front page of the newspaper for taking a photo, so we'll go through that as well. But if you're a sensible person who's making good money, why would you want to go and put yourself in that environment where you've got all these people who are at the limit of what they could possibly achieve, didn't even run an election, so they don't even know if they're the best person for the job, trying to maintain those positions because that is the highest that, that's their kind of claim to fame. That's their that gives them their entire sense of self and sense of meaning. And so for people who are, who are making lots of money, who are successful, who are the people who should be in those positions, who are highly intelligent and educated, why would you want to go into that arena?
You have to see.
Makes no sense. Why would you do it?
When I campaigned in 2022, I got asked the same question by a lot of people. First of all, I was much younger.
Oh, yeah.
In 2022.
How old are you now?
I hit 30, man. I'm
30?
old. I'm old.
Okay. Before we start talking about being younger, I'm 36, so just check yourself.
That's young. That's young, man.
Or I'll code of conduct to you.
Oh, man, let's get me started. I reckon people ask the same question. People are like, why? What are you doing? Is it for the money? I said, actually, the work is not equivalent to the money you get at all.
No.
The work is so much that the money is, if you're there for the money, you're silly, you're stupid. So you gotta have to have the passion to want to create change, and that's what frustrated me the most. I had 2 elected members who I felt they never listened to people. We had John Kennedy there for 30 odd years. Not a single person was able to knock off John Kennedy for more than 30 years of his position as a councillor until I decided to run in 2022, and I said, I've had enough. I'm gonna run a grassroots campaign. I'm actually gonna go out there and door knock. And then once he was lost, he was calling me an activist and all that behind closed doors, and I'm like, yeah, but we need people who are capable of doing these jobs.
Down, there should probably be an age limit.
I reckon this is something for debate.
Yeah, because they have an age limit for High Court judges.
Yeah. What's the age limit?
I think it's like 70 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there may have been a couple that fell asleep. So but. There should be, and then a lot of big companies actually do set age limits on their partners. A lot of big accounting firms, they'll you come in as a partner,
Yeah.
you make your money, and then you move on.
Yeah.
And then you go into consulting, you do something else with your life. So, but I feel, but maybe there shouldn't be an age limit. Maybe our generation needs to step up. Because Alexander the Great, he was 33 when he died.
Yeah.
And he'd conquered most of
Yeah.
the known world by that stage,
And Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror as well. They were really young. They were 24, 25, and these guys just went out there and did it on their own. It was like...
Who's the Muslim kind of...
I guess...
conqueror hero?
I guess you can... Sultan Mehmed II, I think it was.
Okay.
He was a great conqueror, and he took over Constantinople.
Yeah. Was he an Ottoman?
Let's not talk about it. We got opposition. We got opposition in the room, so we're not going to talk about this. But you know what? In terms of when it comes to the age limit part, I'm okay having an older person, an older mayor. But what I think you gotta have is actually the ability to run fair and non-biased meetings, because the role of the mayor is to chair these meetings.
Yeah.
This is my problem with some mayors. They actually, when it comes to discussions, any discussion that opposes their personal views, they will shut down immediately.
Correct. Yeah.
They will not take questions. They will be really hard passing your questions to staff. They will try and shut the conversation down. And it's not something that I just observe.
Okay, you're right. Because in state and federal parliament, the speaker is chosen by the dominant party.
Yeah.
But they are meant to be impartial. Right. And our current federal speaker, I think he's really good, and he is really, really impartial. And he'll kick out all the opposition.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. But they're also being the most unruly.
Right.
And it's they don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
Whereas in council, because the leader of the council, the mayor,
the head of the council,
is also the speaker and also has that power.
Yeah.
You don't have that separation. So I've seen it where, because I'm like hyper compliant with rules. I'm a tax lawyer.
Yeah.
Right. So I like to follow rules exactly. And so when the mayor's doing a bad job and she doesn't know the rules, and I'll say, point of order, you're not doing the right thing. Yeah. I'll be right, and the governors will be like, yeah, Henry's right. But then someone will say, oh, you're fighting with the chair, that's disrespectful to the chair, he should get kicked out for that. I'm like, no.
And there'll be a vote, and then we get kicked out.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you were wrong. Dude, I was right. The administration say I was right, but because I'm fighting with the chair and they have the numbers, then you're gone. Yeah. Which is not the right thing to do.
Absolutely. And look, I have been, and I will say this on camera because there's nothing for me to hide. I got into an argument with the mayor when she brought a motion about bullying, harassment, and discrimination.
Yeah, let's go into your story.
So the mayor breached 8 code of conduct clauses not to bully and harass other elected members. Yeah. And then, there was an independent report from the LGA asking her to apologize and to undergo training.
Really?
Right. And then the motion came to council, things became public, and we voted on the motion. We still had 2 councillors vote against the motion and the independent report, but then the motion stated that she has to apologize publicly and needs to undergo training. And instead of actually acknowledging what she did and what she said and apologize, she went to a whole rant on how this was politically motivated. But then the person that I know, the affected councillor, it's public information, by the way, you can look it up. The affected councillor would be in tears on most nights. She would be, and this is the thing that we keep seeing, is that there's a lot of bullying and harassment behind closed doors, like old school bullying and harassment.
Oh, mine is just completely public.
I think with mine it's like completely behind closed doors, and as soon as you bring in a camera and a mic, the conversations just changes drastically. And I'm like, well, you're holding a public role. Why are you afraid of a camera and a mic?
I know why.
Is it something that you've been saying that you don't want to be caught on camera?
Well, exactly.
I'm like, for me, I'm like, I don't mind. Bring a camera, bring a mic, get in my face, tell me,
let's go.
Debate me, But they don't do any of that. Yeah. As soon as they see a camera.
Well, let's talk about what happened to you. So, Yeah, tell the story, because I know you from the media where you got in trouble because people were saying racist comments on your Facebook page, but then you got in trouble.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
So how does that work? Because that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they tried to get me in trouble for it, but it's silly. You can't do it. So the argument is that it's council policy to monitor and manage all these comments that get left on my social media.
Sure.
Now, mind you, when the mayor and other elected members, some elected members don't have social media, when they post something, you might have 2 or 3 comments, 5 comments, 6 comments, 60 likes.
Oh, that's a good post.
Right, that's a really good
solid
engagement.
Post. 60 likes. I wish I got to 60 likes.
The problem with my campaign is that it started getting thousands of likes, tens of thousands of comments, and 100,000 of views.
Wow.
Since announcing my nomination to run for council, now I'll tell you good and bad parts of it. You know, being attacked for who I am, but not attacking the policies. So that's the issue.
Yeah.
And I think so. There's a lot of attacks on me, and we tried not to really get engaged. It was hard to keep up as well, to police all of these comments.
Yeah.
People were saying all kind of things, about my religion, about my name, about my skin color, about my beard. And I'm just like, okay, just let them have their say, right? Freedom of speech, let them have their say. They disagree with me.
Did you die? You didn't die.
I'm still alive, actually. I feel stronger than ever after all these comments. But the problem is the mayor didn't like it, and I think they didn't like it for the wrong reasons.
So why didn't they like it? So you left them up there.
So
someone's made a stupid comment saying they didn't like your beard or your...
The argument is that people were feeling unsafe because of these comments.
So, okay. So
and they feel...
You put up a post.
Yep.
Someone says a stupid comment about you.
Really bad racist and Islamophobic, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Racist comment. And then...
Someone feels...
The mayor attacks you because someone attacked you and someone else could feel unsafe.
Yeah, so the argument it was my obligation to monitor.
And they would have spent ratepayers' money on that. They would have spent legal advice, getting advice on making this roundabout argument to make it your fault. Rather than the mayor saying this is out, I'm backing you.
She didn't. She actually came out and criticized me, saying that it is my problem for all these comments, and she was saying these comments are because of me, because I'm divisive. I'm just running for mayor. I didn't say anything about religion. My policies are clearly about advocating for all residents from all walks of life. Is there's nothing divisive about my
But that's the whole point of being. Everything should be divisive. Otherwise, why are you talking about it? What is the point about something? Do you like? Well, I like milk. Yes, I like milk. Let's talk about it the next year.
Well,
how much we like milk. No, that's boring. Let's talk about what we can fix. We agree. Let's move on.
Agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and she
let's
actually
talk
came
about
out.
the problems, not the things we've already fixed.
And what's worse about the whole thing is that the mayor complained about my behavior, because people were leaving really bad comments on my posts, and they went to criticize me, and then there were things about that I should be responding to people's questions, and I'm one person.
Yeah, is she going to give you staff?
And I got tens of thousands of comments to reply to daily.
Wait, so now she's attacking you for...
Yeah, that was part of it. No, she did.
For not replying to comments?
Yeah. No, this is like public as well. Yeah, honestly, man, this is public. So I was criticized for not responding to people's questions, but then I was also criticized for removing some comments.
Yes. Now, so did you get formal codes of conduct over this? You might not be able to talk about it, but I suspect, so under the local government, codes of conduct that you receive, they're confidential.
Yeah.
So I've received codes of conduct behind closed doors that are just completely rubbish.
Can't talk.
But now I'm not allowed to talk about it because I would be in trouble if I talk about it. So I bet you Yassir's received codes of conduct over stupid things that maybe lawyers have batted off or the person has withdrawn. God. But I bet you that has cost ratepayers an absolute fortune behind closed doors.
And
it's serious, and it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
Because you're sitting there, you're isolated, you can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you're getting...
bombarded with these complaints.
Yeah.
Just because saying your opinion, and your opinion is not even controversial.
That's right.
Your opinion is I don't like the rate hikes. And you're all in trouble.
Oh, you're being divisive.
I'm being
Because we
divisive.
all love the rate. All the councillors love the rate hike.
I'm like, well, and here's the thing. I had these silly conversations, and people come up and say, I'm not gonna call any names, but they would say, well, why'd you screenshot the agenda and put it online for people to see?
How could you?
I'm like,
You screenshotted the agenda.
this is a public role.
All right, so we're going to cancel the podcast.
Honestly,
Let's cancel this man right here.
Honestly, cancel every election that you run, and let's just, you know what? Let's not even run elections.
Yeah.
Let's not have a democracy.
Well, I mean, some of your mayor's used to that. She didn't have an election.
Yeah, she did. Well, as I said, we have 3 positions.
Let's make it formal.
Yeah. Well, the 3 positions filled unopposed.
Yeah.
Unopposed out of 11 positions. That's tremendous.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Because and look, and I can tell you, this process behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Where people come in. So I made a 60-second video.
Yeah.
Where so councillors, the first thing they did on council was they decided to create 4 committees, and that meant that 4 councillors all get a whole bunch of extra money.
Right.
So they'd get about $120,000 extra over their existing allowance.
Right.
They didn't run on this campaign.
Right.
And then we had a committee meeting. So you're getting about $750 a committee meeting.
Yeah.
This one went for 20 minutes.
Right.
The chair wasn't even in the state.
Right.
And she still got paid.
Yeah.
I published a video on it.
Yep.
Then I get all these defamatory comments in the chamber.
Yep.
And then I get codes of conduct.
Yep.
And a 56-page lawyer's report.
Wow.
Saying how dare I tell anybody about these committee structures.
Yep.
And that I didn't give enough context. It's insane. And I disagree with the policy from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm letting people know that they've got their hands in the cookie jar. 56 pages, they got a barrister to come and get me.
Wow.
And they wanted me to apologise. I was like, no, I'm not apologising for that.
Well, it's interesting that there were some comments about, how the LGA independent panel, the behavioural panel is,
They've got to go. That's a star chamber. That is there's no rules of evidence. There are no procedures, and they can just write whatever they want. And my understanding is then once the report is published, and they can publish whatever they want, it's beyond, you can't sue for defamation.
Yeah.
Because it's a government publicly written document.
Yeah.
And so there's a bit of legislation that protects them from it. So this, it's essentially a star chamber. And then the minimum bar for what they can investigate is 0. So everything, this conversation right now, hundreds codes of conduct, just because you dared.
Look, I'm expecting that to
and
really happen.
I'm not being dramatic.
No, I'm expecting that to really happen. But with that being said, look, I've had people come and tell me, be very careful. They're really coming after you, and they will make sure whatever needs to get done to you will get done. Yeah. And I said, well, look, I'm 30 years old. If I lose, I lose. If I win, that's great. If I lose, I'll move on to my next.
It's even better.
To my next gig of life. However, I'm really passionate about this creating this real change in Campbelltown. I think we really need it. Again, unopposed election, man. It's I can't have another 4 years of Jill Whittaker and 4 years of unopposed.
And you know what? You got to stand up, and I respect that. You got to go, I don't like this, and I'm going to go and fix it. I'm going to take responsibility. Yeah. And now you get to vote. I'm either in or I'm out. Yeah. I won't be causing fuss anymore, or you can go and fix it. Like when the city of Adelaide, it was double its prudential borrowing limit. Yeah. It was going to borrow $315 million, right? Yeah. It could only borrow about $150 million at that stage. So the council was breaching all of the Local Government Act to try and jig up its long-term financial plan. And I got attacked for telling people how much debt there was. But now the debt has reduced significantly. Now it's actually within the prudential limits. Yeah. And so for me, looking at the City of Adelaide, they were going to burden people with $315 million worth of debt, and now it's come back to $170 million, which is half of that. And that's what I've been able to do by being critical, by holding them, pushing them.
Look, if you even take council out of this whole conversation, just look at the most effective boards. If you have everyone agreeing with everything, you run the whole board or organisation into the ground. You've got to have someone who's critical, who's going to be able to read through the numbers, who's going to be able to question what's being presented before them. And there's accusations. Look, I've even had accusations by the mayor is that I don't read council agenda because I ask a lot of questions. And I'm like, dude, I ask questions, because this needs to be on record. People need to know what is happening.
Oh, so they're saying, yeah, because you're making a political point.
Right.
You're like, how much was the debt again? 315 million. You know, oh, you didn't read your paper. No, I did, actually. Yeah. I did, actually.
Exactly. I've read the agenda. I know what's going on. And you'd ask those questions and, man, don't ask these questions. Don't ask. They get really annoyed. I'm like, what's the point of me even being a councillor if the questions annoy you people?
Oh, I get like, so yeah, you know how the questions work. You have the call, you can ask whatever question you want.
Yeah.
That generally turns into a screaming match.
Oh, God.
Because I'm like, tell me about this part of the financial. You're not allowed to ask that. I'm like, why not? And they're like, it's not relevant. I was like, it's about that slide. And so this big, yelling situation happened at council because I was trying to ask a question on a slide.
Yeah.
And then they kept yelling at me saying I wasn't allowed to. I'm like, no, but I actually am.
Yeah.
And the thing is that frustrates me is that the governance just sits there and doesn't say anything. The staff know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
But the staff and the CEO should step in at that point and say, no, Henry should be able to ask a question.
But they don't. No, they can't, because these staff positions are very influenced by the mayor.
Yeah.
The CEO...
Because the mayor sits on the CEO's performance panel.
Well,
and sits on another, they set the KPIs.
Yeah, but be careful. Don't say the wrong thing or you'll be out.
I'm already out.
Of your position. No, yeah.
See, this is the great thing about resigning, is I know how much duress you're under in this conversation because, you know what's another stupid complaint? But it is another thing to your mental load. Whereas now that I'm out of it, there's nothing they can do. And
look, I even said this. I said this, if they're going to go and try to do everything they could under the sun to get me under a code of conduct, or, I don't know. Man, standing up to bullies nowadays, standing up to bullies and harassers is supposed to be bullying. All right, fair enough. Well, if you're going to go out there, bully people, harass them, behind closed doors, and do all kind of shenanigans, I will stand up to you in front of the camera and beyond the camera.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is a reality. We will, as younger people.
No, I like young people. No. Keep going with that.
As younger people, and look, here's the thing. This is where I really hate it.
As young people. Yeah. And he just gives me side eye, looks at me and goes, as younger people.
No, I'm just talking about myself. I don't consider myself young anymore. I've hit 30, you guys. I got a 3 front of my...
Yeah, that's what it was.
Front of the number, you know what I mean?
You're still hurting me, mate.
Sorry, man.
I'm 30. I don't consider myself... What does that make me? You just make it worse.
You got something to complain against me. Council being ageist towards me.
I'm with Jill. All right, Jill's coming in next week.
Oh, God. Yeah, probably she will. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to do these kind of things. But here's the other thing, is that you ask some of these residents and people who keep arguing about they like who is in power right now or in position, you tell them, well, I'm ready to debate them. I'm ready. Bring the mayor, bring the deputy mayor, bring everyone who wants to run for elections, and let's have a public debate so people know who's running and why running. Yeah. Why are you running? Because we've had one person, I'm not going to name, they just put their hand up and like, I'm running for council and to become the next mayor. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, what are you running for? I've just had the experience and I've worked in the community for 12 years. But you know what? In companies, the longest serving members aren't usually the brightest at times. You know what I mean? You want to move them on to another organization quickly.
Yeah.
And it just becomes stale. And this is the establishment always, it's stale, it's slow.
Yeah.
And you need people with new vision, new energy, new face, a new thinking mindset to come in and actually
do things better.
Do things different.
And you're right. And because I've seen the same type of philosophy on the council. Because the thing is, a lot of the council at Adelaide, they're all bureaucrats or ex-bureaucrats. Yeah. And so they've worked in government. Yep. And they just go, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I just guess we can't change it.
It is what it is.
And they're saying, homelessness is so bad in the city. We're so sad about homelessness. I'm like, there's nothing we can do though. That's not my problem. I'm like, no, hold on. You set the rates. You're earning $65 million a year. You're taking $65 million a year extra off the people of all of South Australia. And there are 9.3 million people in Australia with less than $1,000 in their bank account. So when the Adelaide City Council makes up, they have some terrible signs, but they're running around with all these cars. Yeah. You get a couple of those fines, you're not paying rent. You don't pay rent, you're on the street. Now you're homeless. It is absolutely within the council's nexus of control not to let their spending go outrageous. But then Oh, it's not my problem. There's nothing I can do.
It's state and federal, right? Because
it's everybody else's problem.
I brought this
And
motion.
then what states say?
Yeah, God.
Talk to you like.
I brought this motion like literally a few weeks ago. I'm glad you're talking about homelessness. And I brought this motion to try and find ways to combat homelessness. And the staff comment was, to me, man, it was outrageous because it was a very, very long response to a very simple asking. But then it was, it's not a problem, it's state and federal, and then I asked the staff, and I'm like, what is the role of council? Is it just to refer people? Basically, the answer was yes. We only just refer people and give them information for support. But then, what if the person who's homeless or experiencing homelessness doesn't have a phone, doesn't have access to internet, doesn't read English, can't read?
Yeah.
What are you going to do in that instance? And they're like, oh, we just rely on people when they make a complaint.
Right.
About homeless people.
Yeah, it's reactive.
You know, it's very much about, I'm seeing a homeless person, I'm a bit scared, go get them, and then staff will go out and try to help the person who's experiencing that. But why can't we be proactive? Why can't we actually help the ones who are most in need? Because if we help those, our whole society is much better off.
Well, exactly right.
It's safer.
Yeah.
It'll be better.
It costs a fortune once they become homeless as well.
It costs a fortune to get them back into the system where they have a house.
Yeah. I was talking to one guy, he used to be like a big fund manager over in New York.
Yeah.
On Wall Street. Is that in New York? Yeah, it is. And so he used to earn 6 figures back in the 1990s, which was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
And he was at a soup kind of kitchen night that I was there at, and he was talking. I had a chat to him. I said, "How'd you get here?" And he said, "Well, look, I was earning so much money, extremely wealthy, but I felt really guilty about what I was doing."
Yep.
So he left that job, massive, big company, earning a fortune, came back to Adelaide, ran a bookstore. Then the bookstore, and he was living somewhere, the bookstore wasn't making a lot of money, and so eventually he got rid of his house, and then he moved into the bookstore, and he's living in his bookstore. And then the rent went up, and then he was on the street. And then he said, after that, the mental health issues that he got from being on the street, and he's like talking rats, mice, cockroaches crawling all over him. He's like, if you get the mental health issues massively come from being homeless. We've got people who are don't have a bathroom to go to, and so they're just going in front of people's shops at the moment out on around the city, and so there's no kind of human dignity. We've got puddle jumpers who have a shower facility, and then they can't actually continue to provide that. And so then when the council says it's not our job to do anything, and then the state government says, well, it's not our job to do anything, and the federal government says not our job to do anything. In my view, you've got to look at what is within your nexus of control. And for me, what's in our nexus of control is you could put in programs, but you can also reduce the rates.
Absolutely. You can spend your rates much better, and they keep arguing. Look, my policies have been that I've been screaming them out for, since December of 2025 are lower rates, better footpaths and roads, more green spaces, and more transparency. And people go, what is transparency? Well, I'm like, first of all, we don't even have a visual recording of our council meetings, so people are not interested. Yeah. No one wants to go on the website trying to find the links and go to hear what we're saying. They actually want to.
So many other councils do that. Yeah, it's a basic thing.
It's amazing, right? And so people go, how can you achieve those things? Well, I'm like, if you have the right mayor and the right councillors who vote on the right motions in the right direction, we were able to afford to have these things.
What do you mean, how can you achieve that? What are you talking about? As if a resident said, how can... Well, we can't solve any problems. So what? Vote for the person who says you can't solve problems?
I'll say this.
I don't understand.
I have people questioning how can you achieve this here? And then we have a formal complaints that were made against the mayor because she was pushing, at least, she was perceived to be pushing publicly a $61 million development, right? Oh. A $61 million development that all fell through, thankfully. Mm-hmm. And it was like a shopping precinct, a development, housing development, and so on, and new council chambers. So she received a formal complaint about this, right? Okay. Received a formal complaint about this, and then on one of the proposals not long ago, and this is another project that I absolutely hated, the Arc. So we have this is where we have the basketball and swimming center, the Arc. And there was a proposal about a $500,000 elevator. Right. I'm sorry. You can't tell me you can propose these amazing projects and you can't have lower rates and better footpaths. Because when I go out door and knock, people are not complaining about the salary of the councillors or the salary of the mayor or the council chambers. They're not complaining about these things. They're complaining about the overdevelopment that needs to be addressed in Campbelltown. And they're complaining about the status of the footpaths. And when I campaign, I can't even walk on the footpaths.
Yeah.
And I'm, somewhat fit. So I can jump around and whatnot.
You're still young.
Yeah, young, 30. And so people don't want that. And so people look at what I said and they go like, oh, this is Mamdani. I'm like, no, bro. I've actually knocked on doors here in Campbelltown. I didn't knock on doors in New York. I've knocked on doors here in Campbelltown City Council. And I spoke to people and they've told me their priorities are those things.
Yeah.
Their priorities are not big developments. And not $500,000 elevator and not more parking at the Arc. Those are not the issues.
I think, look, this is the thing, is that you can spend people's money forever. And this is what people need to realise, is that the government will, if you let them, take your money. There's so many good projects out there. There is an infinite number of amazing projects.
Yeah.
Right? They'll keep spending it.
Yeah.
And there'll always be a justification for it. But if you, as a citizen, don't say enough's enough,
yep,
they will spend every single dollar you have. And that's what we're facing at the moment, is the government, real wages in Australia are going backwards because we've had massive inflation, wages haven't kept up, and the government hasn't reduced taxes with bracket creep. So the government is taking more money out of your pocket now, more than they have in the last, however long. And so everyone's feeling poorer now. That's why homelessness is so bad in the city, is government's taking money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
But it's all these great projects and all these good ideas and making everyone happy. Whereas, we are relying on our government more and more and more. And what it seems to me, what I'm really worried about, and this probably let me know about your campaign as well, is that when people feel like things are going backwards, then who do they go to? They go to the government for more money. Mm-hmm. And it's this endless cycle of now the government's just completely, you only have a relationship between you and the government, and the relationship between citizen then disappears. And I can see why people would do that in times of stress.
Yeah.
But actually, in times of stress, the government needs to think very carefully about its projects and actually reduce spending on things which are a waste.
I agree.
Right? Because then they're taking money off you to then try and get more employees who get paid a much higher salary to try and attract them. So in the city of Adelaide, the average employee gets paid $133,000 a year. So well above the average wage.
Yeah.
So the government is paying a premium for employees, which then sucks it out of the private sector, and then it makes it harder for everybody else to get work. Yeah. And so then what do people do in times of stress? Because now your money's been taken away from you, so you can't afford to pay the businesses, well, you go back to the government. And then it's kind of this more and more, I'm worried that the government will just continue to grow exponentially. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll say I'll keep it to local government for reasons.
Sure.
I reckon it's, what's really apparent is that everyone's under tremendous financial stress.
Yeah.
I think there was a statistic on TV not long ago, and it said something like 60 or 70% of mortgage payers are under financial stress.
Yeah.
Huge number. What's really concerning for me, and I think this is where governments really need to look at it and really try to resolve this as soon as possible, which is going to be difficult, it's a complex issues, is that people now are looking for new answers, right? They are so sick of the status quo.
I hope.
They don't want the same people. I don't think, and you can see how votes shifted.
Yeah. Because, well, to me it kind of goes, things get worse. They go to the government for more help.
Yeah.
The government spends more money and things get even worse. So they go to government for, and it comes a point when before they actually start looking for change, because all the politicians on the way down are saying, we'll support you, we care about you, we care about you, we care about you. Oh, we care about homelessness. That's why we've increased the rates by $65 million a year. And it gets worse and worse and worse. And what I'm worried is a little bit like Stockholm syndrome, is where does it come to the point where people will realize that the answer is to stop asking for money from the government, because that's just not going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me personally, I would say this: I never looked at the government is a great way to help you out of poverty, or get you in a really good spot in life. So you really have to work your ass off nowadays and have 2-3 jobs. And this is the thing about a lot of the times they say, like, young people are not doing great and they're lazy. I'm like, mate, young people are working 3-4 jobs to get the same thing you got.
I have 23 jobs.
Right?
I have 23 different hats, positions that I'm on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about 23? Where does it start?
No, that's the rest of the podcast.
What do you mean? Let's name this. So you're a counsellor?
Yeah.
And then you're a lawyer?
Well, I've lost like 5.
Okay.
Because, but anyway, we'll keep going. Then literally, because I run, the big ones are, I'm the chairman of McLaren Vale Hospital.
Yeah.
I'm a director of a listed company in Sydney called Climate Investment Management. So it's about $3 billion under management.
Smart cookie, vote for him.
I'm doing a master's, which I'm hoping to turn into a PhD with Adelaide University. So I'm currently enrolled.
What is it on? Hold up, let's hear.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we're only halfway through the list. There's a lot more.
We'll come back to the.
No, so the PhD, the PhD is on. I'm working towards it. So I'm currently enrolled as a master's, working towards a PhD.
Yep.
And the thesis topic is state and federal taxes, when they encourage you and how they're written to encourage you to do different things.
Yeah.
So a really good example is stamp duty versus the principal place of residence exemption. Okay. So let's just say that you're an engineer and you've been working up on a big project at Tea Tree Gully, and now you're going to go work on the submarines.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've got a house. Let's just say it's worth $1 million, and your family's there. Federally, they want you to move house. So they give you a principal place of residence exemption. You sell your house, you buy a new one close to your job. Right? Easy. But the state says, oh no, we're going to charge you $50,000 of stamp duty so that you can move. So now the person has a really terrible choice. They can commute an hour each way every morning. They could sell their house and pay $50,000 to live closer to their next job. Or they could rent out their house. Now they're going to have to pay income tax on it, and then rent somewhere else where they don't get a tax deduction, closer to where it is, and then move everything there.
Right.
So what I'm looking at is streamlining state and federal policy so that they're both pulling in the same direction. So in my view, there should be a principal place of residence stamp duty exemption.
Okay.
If you're moving for work, there should be a stamp duty exemption so that you can freely move, because that's what you get incentivized by the federal government.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So things like that. So I'm looking at that kind of tax policy and basically writing recommendations to the state government on how we can streamline those processes.
So that's 3. What's 4 and 5?
Oh, so I got a law firm.
Yeah, law firm.
I had a conveyancing company, which was also a law firm.
Yeah.
Now my thought process behind this is if I have multiple law firms, and by one stage I had 3, I'll make 3 times as much money.
Right.
I did not. I did not make.
Welcome to business.
I made,
you put in more money into it. Get out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What else is there? Oh yeah, I run about 7 different charities.
Yeah.
And they hand out $3 million a year to South Australians. And then I was on council, so I had the actual council meeting and then the 4 subcommittees that I was on. So you're getting up to, it's wild.
And
then there's like the REM committee. Like I'm on the Remuneration Control Committee for Climb, for example,
right?
Which is like the KPI.
See, and then they say that young people are not trying hard enough.
I'm trying really hard, and I got chickens and bees.
Do you live in the hills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No. Well, it's as I said, young people are really trying so hard to not just make a name for themselves, but also show up as leaders. And I keep seeing it over and over again. Sometimes we get discredited by the older generation, or the mayor and so on, about how young people are not working as hard as they should.
Yeah.
They need to get off their phones and do work.
I'm having a go at some older people at the moment because they're like, oh, the country's gone to terror. I'm like, yeah, but first of all, who are you sponsoring? Particularly people who have the means.
Yeah.
It's like either you run for politics because you're clearly very smart, or if you have the financial means and you're intelligent and you've done well in your business, either you should run for politics so I don't have to, or you should sponsor someone or mentor them. And I think at the moment it's like, oh, well, I'm looking after my kids. Yeah, well, it's not enough. You have to actually look at, because back in the day when Australia was first founded, you had Edmund Barton, Griffiths, and people like Clark, who was the Attorney General for for Tasmania. Griffiths went on to become the first High Court judge of Australia. Edmund Barton went on to become the Prime Minister. These were all very intelligent, very educated, wealthy individuals who'd been successful in their own lives, who were now called to public service. But what I see now is people who are doing this as a retirement job. They're political staffers who would never earn any money because they're essentially burnt individuals, and so they can't go and work in the private sector, and so then they become politicians because they want the money. Or you've got people kind of doing, or activists, people who've done nothing in their life really, and then now they're trying to get into local council to climb the greasy pole. I think that, and that's a problem, is because we don't have the best and the brightest of our society running for local government. We have people with ulterior motives. But you know what I find is funny is they're like, oh, you're using this as a stepping stone. I get that criticism all the time.
Same on our own.
Yeah. It's like, my view to that is, like, my view is there are problems. I'm running for local government because there are problems.
Yeah.
The state government has even more problems, even bigger problems. The federal government, even larger problems again. If I have the training, experience and understanding to solve problems at a local level, which I have for 12 years, I can do that at state and I can do that at a federal level as well.
Not?
So why wouldn't you want to put me in, coach?
Why wouldn't you? And the more of a competition we have for these positions,
the better.
Hopefully, the better candidates you get elected.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just end up with, as I said, it's like high school class president, where someone puts their hand up. I want to be a class president. I want to be a vice president. Yes, you get a position. You get this. Hey, let's high five.
Yeah.
That's the reality that I feel. And
that's the same thing with political parties as well.
I had residents ask me, and they said to me, so, and I compared that to the Brisbane situation, and they said, well, what do you think? Like, elected members are amateur politicians? And I said to him, councillors are actually want to be amateur. So we're not even there at the amateur level. We want to be amateurs so bad, but we can't get there.
Yeah.
Especially in South Australia. Again, people not putting their hands up and people getting elected unopposed, and you just get, as you said, people who just want to sometimes treat it as a retirement role, or some people, it gives them that self-fulfillment.
You know what? A lot of these people are like turtles on a post. You heard of that saying? You heard of the saying? Turtles on a post. They're sitting on like you come across, you're driving along and you see this, fence post with a flat top. There's a turtle sitting on the top of it. You're saying, someone put you there. You should not be there. You certainly didn't get up there by yourself. You don't know how to get down. You don't know what to do once you're up there. And a lot of these politicians are like that, just sitting in the middle of a field like a turtle sitting on a post.
And that's why, as I said, I think that's why people are not turning to unconventional parties and the status quo, and people are turning away from it. I don't care, as I was telling to George, I said to him, I don't care if you're left, right, centre. If you got the right intentions and the right policies to help people, all Australians, to pick up their standards of life, and now we're feeling it. Everyone's feeling it. Our pockets are tighter. We're not able to spend as much. Salaries have gone down. Inflation is skyrocketing. There's real issues. So I don't care left, right, centre. If you have the right intention and you have the capacity to be part of a solution, then just shout it out. And that's the thing, people shout so much at the system, but then they don't want to get into the system.
Exactly right.
Because
that's the left. See, that's the left thing is getting somebody else to solve your problem. The right thing is, well, hold on, I've got problems. I'm going to go and fix them for myself.
I will disagree with that, right? I'll disagree with about left or right, and I'll go back to my sentiment.
We've got closing comments here because we're going for an hour, so we're wrapping up soon, so keep going.
I think, whether you're on the left or the right, fine, you'll have your own ways of thinking, of delivering policies. I still do think that if you have the right intentions and you have the capacity to deliver those, do it. But remember, in council elections, it's not compulsory, and 70+% of eligible voters never vote. So it's really hard. People get in either unopposed or on, hypothetically, 15% of voters. So again, I think people need to engage, and they should engage. They should be engaged to vote. I got 2 mayoral prospects here.
That's right. Good looking prospect.
He is. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about me, but yeah, he's good looking.
You know what I really like? about you is that despite all of the rubbish you've been through, despite all of the crap, I'm sure that you've got your bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I can see the glint in your eye, and particularly when you're starting to talk about, I can solve these problems. They're not huge things. It's not rocket science.
No.
It's not stopping an asteroid.
We've been to the moon as well.
Yeah?
We've been to the moon, so we can solve
we've done
more
that.
sophisticated issues.
Yeah, like fixing our footpaths.
Let's do it.
Look, we hit our stretch goal. Now we can come back and deliver.
Let's come back on planet Earth.
That's right.
Fix all footpaths.
But you're so passionate about these, just the normal things that everyday people would care about.
Yeah.
That's what you need in a mayor. And I think that the passion and the love that I can see, your eyes got a spark in them when you're talking
Appreciate
about
it, man.
roads, rates and rubbish. You're weird as hell.
You gotta deliver those
But I am as well, Every time
what's normal? What's normal, right? What is normal?
I'm excited about that change. I'm excited about fixing these little things. And look, honestly, that is the thing that's why I became a lawyer, but that's what brings me the greatest joy.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to me a problem and I can say, hey, I can fix it. So I really admire your run. I think I'm definitely been following you. I need some Instagram tips for sure. And I'm really excited to see you Lord Mayor of Campbelltown. Thank you for having a chat with me.
Oh, well, Henry, I'm just going to say the exact same thing and say that for you to put a hand up to run for mayor in Adelaide City Council as a merely 36-year-old, have achieved so much, just says age is just a number. And it is. You can get people at this age who have got so much experience. So you get people who are a little bit older and they don't have much experience. So
that's true.
I admire your courage for standing up despite what I feel like sometimes people intentionally trying to get you to do the wrong thing, even though you're not.
No.
They'll make it seem like you're doing the wrong thing. And it's a step that I will encourage more people to do and to run for not just mayor, but also to run for wards in the city here and in my city as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And you are intelligent, you've got so many hats, and man, I don't know how you do
My
it.
hat isn't as cool as yours.
Yo, Yassir from
That's from Mayor.
No, that was not the bad Mum Dani stuff. It was the cause of Campbelltown, but it ended up being like that. But look, honestly, appreciate the conversation that we've had, and I wish you all the best in the campaign. I'm sure we'll cross paths soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.